ReefBum is sponsored by Bulk Reef Supply and Ecotech Marine.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. So perhaps you have heard the saying that nothing good happens fast in a reef tank. It is so true. Patience is a key ingredient for success in this hobby on a number of fronts. Let's start by talking about instant gratification. A new reef tank can look very sparse with a lot of open space. You scope out a beautiful mature reef and you want to get to the same happy place with your tank sooner rather than later. Big mistake. Instant gratification can be a killer in this hobby, so the best tactic is to practice patience and take things slow. When you start a reef, you begin the cycling process by adding rock and in some cases sanded bottled bacteria. You then add some fish to help grow the biological bed. Fish losses can occur if you add too many too soon, so it's really important to go slow on this front. The new biological bed will struggle to process all the fish waste, increasing the chances of fish dying due to ammonia or nitrate poisoning. What about adding corals? When is it safe to do so, and how many can you add in the beginning? Some feel it's okay to add a decent amount of coral early on, but I advocate taking it slow. Why? Well, I like to take time to get a feel for a new system. What does that mean? Let me explain with some analogies. I like to bike, and a number of years ago, I picked up a new bike, and it took time to get used to it. The new bike was better, but it was different. I had the same experience with a new pair of skis. You get the most out of new equipment when you have time to learn the nuances of that equipment. Learning curves also exist for reef keeping equipment. For instance, skimmer performance can be dependent on a number of variables. What is the optimal water level in the sump for a skimmer? How high up in the skimmer neck should the bubble/water line be? Manuals make recommendations, but every skimmer is different and requires time to master. With my peninsula tank build, a design flaw wiped out nearly half of my fish population. My peristaltic dosing pumps were set up about 5 feet off the ground with the dosing containers right below the pumps. This was a huge mistake. The containers should have been on the floor or just above the sump to avoid any back siphoning. Sure enough, 1,000 mLs of ammonium nitrate back siphoned into my sump while I was cleaning the dosing heads. The fish died due to this sudden infusion of ammonium. I've been keeping reef tanks for years and never thought this type of thing could ever occur. Lesson learned. Can you imagine if I had corals in the tank and had this type of overdose with a supplement that could impact corals? This is why I like to work out the kinks before rushing to fulfill a grand stocking plan. It is also important to be patient by not messing with the tank. Plant some frags and just leave them alone. SPS will take longer to encrust and color up if they are constantly touched and moved around the tank. Avoid resetting the clock by tinkering to achieve a better look. I don't touch corals unless they are exhibiting serious signs of stress. Quite simply, keep your hands out of the tank as much as possible. What about a frag that is drab and dull after you put it in the tank? Pull it because it looks like a turd? No, give it time to develop and realize its potential. A healthy tank will bring out the best in corals. I've had many unsightly pieces turn into gems after being in my tank for many months. Patience also helps when dealing with certain types of tank issues. For instance, problematic algae like cyano can be fought via chemicals or natural means. Using chemicals can eliminate the cyano quickly, but there can be negative side effects. ChemiClean apparently contains a chemical that can kill many species of bacteria. The question is, does it impact good guy bacteria that are part of the nitrogen cycle? Some reefers have had tank crashes after using chemicals to treat cyano. A safer option is to go the natural route by increasing flow, siphoning out as much cyano as you can, performing regular water changes, using a good skimmer, not overfeeding the tank, and employing a good cleanup crew. Another key is to remove as much detritus as you can. Yes, this is a much longer process, but it does address the issue fueling the cyano. Chemicals are only a band-aid. There are many more examples of how reef keepers can benefit by having patience. Shortcuts usually don't pan out too well. Reef keeping is a marathon, not a sprint.
Well, that will do it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I also want to remind you about my premium SPS frag store on reefbum.com. I will leave a link in the video description below. I'll also leave links for my equipment store. I do sell GHL, Royal Exclusiv, Bellum, and Reef Brite equipment, plus IceCap and Maxspect gyres, as well as Reef Octopus, calcium, and Kalk reactors. Many of these products I do use personally on my tanks. Until next time, be safe and be well. Later.